Hello guys, welcome back to the React JS tutorial. I've currently opened the repository from our last tutorial. I've only added only a thing, this new component, the nav component, and this is just a very basic nav with just the h2 tag right here, and it is nothing much, just to beautify it a bit. And I've actually added some styles to using Bootstrap, but that doesn't really matter. Just focus more on the React. So in this tutorial, I would like to start with custom hooks because I realize we've been using React hooks. For example, here we use the use effect hook to actually load this function once, and we use the use state hooks to actually store the post in this array. So what if we actually want to do something that like we actually want our own custom hooks that we can reuse just like the React hooks. Maybe we want an hook to actually get the position of our cursor, so we can actually add a custom cursor, and that is actually what I intend to do here. So right here, I'll go back to my root and I'll add a new folder named hooks just to create our custom hooks. So I'm going to add a new file named use mouse position .js, and like I said earlier, I'll be using the .jsx for components and I'll be using js for non-components. So I'll just paste in the code for this because it's just like basic JavaScript and I don't really need to type it one by one or explain in details. So here, so this is just like a function, a simple function to get the mouse position, and we are using the use state and the use vect hook, and this is how we are actually using it. I'm using the use state to to actually set the position of the cursor at the x-axis and the y-axis to get the position of the cursor at the x and y-axis. So the initial value I just null, and I'm using the use effect. I'm running your function in the use effect, and I'm running it once. I'm running this once to actually prevent some errors, and just try removing these and you see what I'm talking about. So I'm running this into, so this is the callback function, this is the list of dependencies, and in the callback function I have this function move mouse move handler, this mouse move handler, and it's getting an event. I believe you all know what the event is. It's just normal JavaScript, and from the event I'm destructuring, using array destructuring. I'm destructuring the client x, that is the position at the x-axis and the position at the y-axis. So I'm setting the mouse position, like from right here, from this state I'm setting the mouse position. So I'm setting the x here, which was initially null. I'm setting it to the client x, that is the position of the cursor at x-axis, and y client y, that is the position of the cursor at y-axis. After which, so this is like the function. I'm currently not using this function, so to actually make this work I need to like attach this, and instead of using documents, this is not really a reactive way of doing things, but let's just keep it like this for now. There is actually another hook I could actually use, the use ref, but for some reason I'm not using it here. But we can actually use ref instead of using the document dot add event listener. We can use a use ref, but then we'll just stick with this for now. So document dot add event listener, I'm trying to add the mouse move event listener, and I'm trying to run this function. You know, when you actually use the add event listener, which is just normal JavaScript, you the first parameter is the event listener you are targeting, and the second parameter is like the function you are trying to run using whenever that event is triggered. Whenever the event is triggered, so this, then what I'm trying to return is I'm trying to just remove the event listener, the mouse move handler. So whenever this function has finished running, I want to like remove the event listener after. Then so I'm returning the mouse move. So I'm exporting the use mouse position. So, and whenever you're actually creating a custom hook, you need to use the use. You need to start with use, and then whatever you want to name it. In camel case, that is first letter is capital, then whatever. So I think you understand. You get it. So you just need to like prefix it with the use whenever you are using a custom hook, just like the normal hooks like the use state. So now how I would like to use this is I would like to basically create a new component um for my cursor, for my new cursor, my custom cursor. So cursor capital, I like to just, that's convention maybe. So JSX, so RFCE. So yeah, cursor, I would just like to add a class name of custom cursor. So we are going to go to CSS and actually style this. So basically what I would still like to do here is to add a style, and whenever you add an inline style in CSS, as in React, as we all know, you need to add a double curly braces. So I would just like to add the top, that is margin top. So before that, actually I would like to use my custom hook now. So const, I would like to destructure the X and the Y from my custom hook. So use mouse position hook. I would like to use the custom hook now. So I'm getting the X and Y. If you are wondering how I'm actually able to destructure this, if we should check our custom hook, you will see I'm returning the mouse position. And what is the mouse position? The mouse position is this, that is the X and the Y, and I'm updating it here. If this value is not available, then it's going to give me null for the two value, and that is just okay. So I'm getting the X and the Y. So what I can do here is top, that is the margin top, and I can set it to X, because now that's Y actually, that's Y. And then I can set the left to my X, because this is the X axis, this is the Y axis. So when I'm scrolling down, it is actually following the X axis and the Y axis. And that is just that about that. So I would like to style this custom cursor so we can actually see it on the screen. So I'll go into my styles.css. Wow, this is actually empty for now. So the class dot custom cursor, then I'll firstly need to add a position of fixed so it can actually go anywhere. Then I would like to add a height, maybe 10 pixel. Well, I've not tested this before, so yeah, hopefully it works. Another 10 pixel. Then color, maybe blue, just to test this out. We would eventually style it more later. And then border radius, sorry, border radius, just to create a little circle, maybe 50%, and that should give us a circle or something. So I need to come back to my app here and just import my cursor and just hope this works. So I'm going to do an npm run dev to start up my app, and then we should be able to test this out actually. So I'll open my browser, go to localhost, since I'm using Vite 5173. So I think this is still loading, and yes, I think my app is like, oh, I have not, I think I need to start JSON server too. So npx JSON server port 300. I think that was what we used the last time. So on port 300, and then I need to watch data slash, sorry, what did we name it? Okay, db.json, db.json, and this should start watching the JSON server. Okay, I think that is live now. So let us check out our app. Okay, reload. Okay, for some reason we don't see our custom hook. Let us see. Let us see if we can actually fix that. So let's go back to our cursor. Okay, so I think here we need to like use some this, because we need to actually add pixel to it. So let's see if this actually works after adding the pixel. So yeah, okay, so I think we have another problem. Let me see. There is no problem here. Maybe we should just check the styles. Oh, just right here. It's supposed to be background color, not a color. And I should add the Z index too, I think. 999. Yeah, CSS. So let's see. And wow, we have it. But then I only want to see my custom CSS and my custom cursor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the original cursor. So let's say cursor none. And yes, we already have our custom cursor. And that is just an example of a custom hook. And as you can see, I've actually styled this a little, and this is the simple nav that I created, and I've styled this a little. As you can see, we now have it in like a grid, a flex, and it is quite responsive. So you can get the code and try it out yourself if you want. So basically, that's that about the custom hooks. Now I would like to talk about a way of managing state. What if your app is actually larger than this? How do you like manage your state, your data? I mean, or is it wait? I would like to talk about props first. Then I'll talk about what how to actually manage a state in a better way instead of using props. For example, now as I have this post, I might actually decide to like instead of having this function, this is the function here, and this post, I might actually have it somewhere. Let's say, yeah, I don't want to have it here just to keep things clean. I might decide to remove it from here and have it in my app.js. There is a way I could actually access this. There is a way I could actually give this post, since this component only needs the post, that is the post list component, it only needs the post, and there is a way I could actually give it the post without actually having it inside that component. So here I could actually pass a parameter called the post, then equals to the post just right here, and this is actually called a props, and I could actually get it from this post list component. And a way to actually do this is to get it here. So I could say props, and this props is an object. So I could say my post is equal to, or let's say const post is equal to props dot posts, and this props is an object. So I could actually pass more than one props to a component. For example, okay, app.js. I could equally have maybe another variable. I could say const my name is equal to dev. Okay, this should be a string, dev smart. So I could equally pass another props called name, and I could say my name, and I could actually access it with the props dot my name. So I could actually come here, maybe somewhere around here, and I could just say the dot, well, maybe just a p tag. So I could just say I'm the author. So I could just say author. Then I could say name props dot name, and we should actually see my name and everything should work fine. This is just props. So this props is like an object, and it will store whatever props you are passing, no matter the number of props you're actually passing. So this should be props dot name. Reload, and for some reason I think we are getting an error. Let us see what the error is. So useState, oh sorry, useState is not defined. So if I should go back to my app.js, we do not have the useState. We just move like this here, so we don't have the useState. We are not importing the useState. So what I can do is to come to the top here and just import the useState. So import useState, and I think we are using the use effect too. So the use effect from React, and let's see, and yes, our app works perfectly fine. It works perfectly fine. As you can see, auto name. So that's just a way of using props. But then what if you have a large app and you actually have a lot of props, you have a lot of props to manage, and what if also, like I have the post list, I could actually maybe have like a like button, and the like, and under this post object, under this post object, maybe for each post there is another feed called the likes, and I actually have another component to handle the likes. So I have to like put the, and the like is not really useful in this component, but then there's another component in this component that is using like the likes button, and I have to like pass down the props again. And maybe they are like, I don't, I think you understand what I'm trying to say. Like there are just multiple components inside a single component. Like I just have to like pass the props down, something like props drilling. So there's actually a better way of managing this, and it is by using the use context hook, and that's what I'm going to just like talk about right now. You would actually get to know more about that when you are building large projects, maybe on your own. As for this tutorial, I won't be building any. large project. So here I would like to create a new folder called context context, and then I'll create a new file, the post context.js. So then, to actually create a context, we need to import create context. So create context, so and that is coming from React. So I have to say const post context is equal to create context create context, and then I need to create a provider for this, and I should actually export this. I need to export this because I'll use this later, so I need to export it. So then I need to export this as the default, the provider as the default, and you will see what this actually means very soon. So post provider is equal to this is like a React functional component, arrow functional component, and then here I want to get like the children, and you see what the children actually means very soon. I want to get like the children, and then I need to return, and what I'll be returning is a component which is the post context dot provider and provider. Then I'll be returning the children, and this children is just like we are going to wrap this, and we are going to wrap like everything in this app like over here, in our main. Yes, in our main.js, just like we have the strict mode, we are going to have the post provider. I thought I was exporting that, somehow I can't get it here. So let's see. So this post provider, we are going to wrap everything here. We are going to wrap the app with the post provider, and whatever is inside the post provider, that is the app component right here, is the children. So we are trying to render the children here. So we are rendering the children. If we don't actually add these children, we are not going to be able to render anything that is inside the provider. So the provider can actually take in something called a value, and inside this value we can have anything we would actually like to like give to all the components, and we can actually access it anywhere. We don't have to like drill down the probes. We don't have to like pass it to one component before it can actually reach another component. We can just jump any component and just get the data anywhere, and we'll see this. You will see this in like a bit. So I'm exporting the default. I think I should actually change this to capital letter, since it is like a since it is a provider. So we have post provider. So I could go back to my main, and I could have post provider. Okay, for some reason I'm not getting it here, but then doesn't matter. I'll just type it out. Post provider, and then I would like to import that. So import post provider from the slash. I need to go out of this directory. Then I need to go into my context, then slash post context, and I think I should have access to that already, since this is the default export. I don't need to add a curly braces. So just to make sure everything works. So yeah, okay, there's a mistake. I actually changed the name, so I need to like change this to, so post context provider, then the value. So the value I would actually like to be serving, instead of having this function here, I could make this cleaner by just removing everything. So Ctrl X, and then removing this and this. So I could just go to my post context, and I could have it right in my post context. So I could have it like right here. I could have it right here, and then the values I'll be giving out is the posts. Yes, I'll be providing the post as a value, and then my name. I think these are the two values I'm actually using. Okay, so my name, and then from React I also need to import the use effect and the use state. I think that created an error the other time. So the use state hooks. So I have all my hooks. I think everything should work now, but as you can see in our post list, this is still expecting props, some props. So I need to like remove this, and then we are not getting any props anymore. I'll just leave this as name. So I'm just going to do a const. So I'm going to the structure, array destructuring. Since I actually store this in an array, where is it? Okay, I actually store this in an array. So I'm going to destructure it and get it back. I'll just copy and I'll delete this and I'll just paste. So I'm getting the post and my name. So it's equal to use context. So this is like a React hook to actually use your context, and then you need to provide the context you want to use. So post context. So you are getting your posts, you are getting our posts, and then this should be my name. If everything goes well, this should actually work, hopefully. So fail to pass source for input analysis because context contains invalid JS syntax. Okay, let us see. Okay, so there was a bit of mistake. This the context, as you can see, we're actually writing JSX here, so we can't really give it a name of JX. We should actually name this JSX. So rename JSX, and yeah, hopefully this should work. So I think we are getting another error again, but this time reference error, post provider is not defined. Okay, let's see. So then we are going to go back to our context and just see. I think the error is coming from here. Okay, for some reason I have to do a, okay, let's try this const. Then I'll just export below here, export default post provider, and yeah, I think it should be available now. So I'll just reload, and yes, the error is gone and everything works perfectly well. So you can just add like as much function as you want, and you can provide as much data as you want. And as a matter of fact, I could equally go into my nav and I could use the context here if I want. So that is just that about that. So we are moving closer to the end of the React tutorial course, and with what we've actually learned, I think it should be good enough to just like create your own apps right now. But before I actually end this tutorial, I would like to talk about one more thing, that is the React router. The React router, for example, if you have like multiple pages, you can use the React router, and I've actually installed this dependency. So you can just install this React router DOM. It doesn't come with React normally. And if you should actually wonder that, okay, I actually have like just two dependencies that actually come with my React normally. If you're using the Create React app, you are going to get more dependencies, but Vite actually gives you like the important ones. It doesn't give you like everything you don't need. And basically, I don't think you need these types too, so you can uninstall it if you want, but it's just their dependencies. It will not really affect your app. But if you're using TypeScript, then you'll be using these two types, and they are just for TypeScript. So basically, React and Vite will just give you like what you need. But then in React, you will actually get more. You will get like testing libraries, you will get service workers, and you equally get the React scripts. But we are not getting the React script here because we are using the Vite script, which is a dev dependency right here. But then the important thing is just I've installed the React Router DOM that we are going to be using right now. So for example, if we actually have another page, so I'm going to just come here and create maybe okay about us. So I could just say about us the JSX. So I could have RFC here. So about us. So we can have some about us about here. Okay, as you can see, we have an error. We can only render one component here. So I will just add a fragment to wrap it up. So we are rendering just one component, and that error is gone. So we can just have, okay, about all goes, yeah, that's about that. So to actually use that, I'm going to come back here because I want the nav to be everywhere. I want the cursor to be on every page. So it's only the post list that's going to change. It's only this component that is going to change whenever I actually click on another route. So from the React router DOM, we actually have the browser router component. We have the browser router component, and it needs to like wrap whatever component we are trying to render. So we have the routes component still from the React router DOM, and this will equally wrap all our components. So I think I should add some indentations right here just to make it look cleaner. So then we have the route which is a single route. So I could give it a path of slash. So whenever we go to slash, so I could actually add an exact keyword, and I will tell you why I'm actually adding the exact keyword soon. So we can have a component. So now I'll just close this, and it is going to render this component. Or better still, I think there is a better way to do this. I could just add an element, and this will be the element that I'm going to be rendering. So declares an okay. I need to like close it, and yes, I think, sorry, this should actually be curly braces because I'm trying to, yeah, this should be curly braces. So then I have another route, and the path is just slash about, and the element I'm trying to render is the about us element. And yeah, I think we are good. So let us just go back and try this out in our app. So slash, and we are getting this. So if you go to slash about, and yes, about us goes here, and that is just how React Router DOM works. So you can have like multiple pages, and as you can see, it's only this part that is reloading. That is actually, wait, you will actually see that in a bit. I'm going to add some more stuff to my nav. So I will go back to my nav component. And here I will just have a div. Then class name, I could add display of flex, the flex. Then I could have the first one to be div. Okay, instead of having a div, how about I just have a link, then two, and this link actually comes from React Router DOM. So 2 slash, then I just write home, and then I could have another link to about, and this will just be about. Let me see how. Okay, I have another error. So use ref may be used only in the context of a router. Okay, so yeah, this is not in a router, so we can't really use it because if you actually check here, the nav is outside the browser router. So I think we should just move the nav and this into the routes and see if this will solve our error. And yes, we still have the error. Cursor is not a route component. All component children of route must be route. Oh, let us take this up a bit. It seems anything we'll be having in the route must actually be okay. And yes, that is working fine now. So anything we actually have in this route must be a route. We can't just have any component here. So we can have any other component we want inside the browser router. And as a matter of fact, we don't need this div right here. We can just have our browser router, And yes, and sometimes you might actually see people do this router, no, browser router as router, and instead of using browser router you just say router. I've actually seen this a lot. So they just have router and everything works just fine. I will study this a bit more, but let's test it out a bit. So when you click, you go to the slash about, and this page doesn't reload. Only this page, only this component will change, and that's just a reactive way of doing things. So go to the about, go to the home. So I'm going to study this later, but yeah, I'm just trying to like show you the functionalities, and without further ado, I would not like to waste more time. So basically, we've talked about custom hooks, the context API, the React router, and basically every other thing we've talked about in the past tutorials. So I believe up until now we've touched like the basic parts of React that you actually need to like start creating your home project. So you can start creating your own basic projects, and in the next class we are going to create a project. So I'm going to think about it, and by the next class we are going to like try and build it together. And what I actually like to do is I don't really like to like prepare before a tutorial for some reason. I just like to like learn to. So I like to like I want people to actually see my own mistakes, so you know that it's actually okay to make mistakes. So as you're coding, it is very fine to make mistakes. It is like the standard. If you don't make mistakes, then maybe something is wrong somewhere. Maybe you're not coding it right. So it is very okay to make mistakes, and as such, I don't really prepare before a tutorial. I just try to like make the mistakes so you actually see, and I actually see it's fine to actually make mistakes and learn, and that's just like the standard way of learning. So basically, I'd like to end this tutorial now, and in our next video, we are with everything we've actually learned, we are going to like build um a small project, and maybe subsequently maybe next week we are going to wrap up React. If we don't wrap it up tomorrow, then we are going to wrap up React next week, and we're actually going to Bootstrap and all other stuff. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I'm going to end the video now. Thanks for watching.